Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video giving my final thoughts, going to be doing a character spotlight on Beth Greene. Alright, so I thought it made sense to go ahead and do this one first, and then I'll probably do one for Dawn afterwards, of course, because, well, spoiler warning. Spoilers. I mean, they both get killed off in the mid-season finale, of course. So, of course, Beth takes priority, being that she's a character that's been in the series much longer. And then, Dawn, not a bad villain, but I'll save mostly my thoughts on her for her own character spotlight. However, of course, these two go hand in hand. It's kind of interesting the way they did this, where they kind of had Beth, have her own villain, so to speak. Like, Dawn was kind of like her her Gareth or her governor, or, she kind of had like her own villain in the series, which was kind of cool. And I never would have thought they would have gone that far with her. So those of you guys who have been following the channel for a while, you've been maybe sticking around since like season 2 or late season 1, that kind of thing. I mean, that's a long time ago now. I tend to think there aren't many people, but I think a lot of people have, maybe seen some of the older videos that I've done and that kind of stuff, talking about different characters in the series and in different reviews and that for season 3 even, or 4, or 2, depending, because I've done some throwback reviews as well too, of course, right? But you guys know that Beth was not my favorite character when she was first introduced into the series. In fact, she was probably one of my least favorites. She was kind of a new character for the TV series. She doesn't really have a comic book series counterpart. And, being, of course, that she's Herschel's daughter, she never, to me, they went a different route with Herschel in the TV series as they did in the comic books, his sons and daughters, so to speak. And they did some switches there, and they changed some things around. And for the most part, I mean, I wasn't really the biggest fan of it at first. So as the series goes on from season 2, in a lot of my death predictions and stuff, I had thought that she was going to be killed off way sooner. I thought like season 2 at the end, maybe beside the dying fire, something like that. I thought she was going to get killed off there. Going into season 3, I didn't think she was going to survive very much. And I was really surprised right off the bat how much time she actually got. She had, the different times where she was able to sing and that, and, taking care of the baby, of course. And, while all the stuff was going on with Woodbury and all that, she was there, at the prison, obviously. And then going into season 4, they gave her even more time, which I thought also was a little strange, because I didn't think she was going to I thought she was going to get killed off just at random, so to speak. Kind of same with how T-Dog did, that type of thing. So she's still kicking, she's still around. We go through season 4, she gets second half, she gets even more time, and we get to see the episode still with her and Daryl, and then we see the whole storyline, which was, I think, probably the most exciting for all of what they did with Beth in the series, which is close to the end. I feel like her character really started off, didn't really care much for her, and then as we went, into season 4 and everything, started to care more and more, but cared a lot more once she was actually in jeopardy, right? Once she developed this relationship with Daryl, even though the still episode, you guys know how I feel about that, I don't have to go into details. Even though, it wasn't a great episode by itself, it makes a lot more sense now for the series than it did when we first saw it. When I first saw it, and it's important we talk about this because I didn't know what they were doing with it. I was like, are they just filling out time? Is this filler? What is this? I just didn't get it. In a zombie apocalypse with all these different things going on, all these different groups and different locations and different stuff, why would we spend a whole episode with them, kind of seeing them build some kind of, close friendship, or this type of thing, because it wasn't really any kind of romantic relationship at all between the two, but it was kind of like really close friendship, I guess you would say, is how you would have to break it down based on what happened and everything. So going from there, the episode makes a lot more sense now, and from that point onwards, I became a big fan of the character, because they take her from there, and then they, of course, have her be put into, not a damsel in distress situation, but she gets captured, of course, right? Then you feel for Dale. You can see he's totally alone. He meets Joe's group when he's he's just broken down after probably chasing this car, running for who knows how long, maybe all night, trying to see if he can, do something, and just giving up and kind of collapsing in and of himself just on the road there, when Joe's group, of course, walks up and finds him. So, at that point in time, that for me was the most exciting part of what happened with Beth all throughout the series. Was, where did she go? What happened with her? Are we going to see some kind of remix of Gabriel from the comic books, where maybe he's evil because they had the cross on the back and all that? And, I never predicted, or I never heard anybody else either come up with the idea that maybe she would be in Atlanta at Grady Memorial Hospital, this kind of thing. And I've seen a lot of comments. Nobody really called that until we started, actually getting released information from, season 5 and all that, and, getting to see some trailers and everything, and what was going on with her for the SDCC trailer and all that. So, going into season 5 now, this was something that it was kind of like what they did with the governor in season 4, where he kind of disappeared, and then everybody just couldn't wait for him to come back. They did the same kind of thing with Beth, and it worked really, really well. By the time we got around to Slabtown, after the Hunter's Arc, I mean, I was like, I couldn't wait to find out what's been going on with this character, what has happened to this character, because Herschel is such a cool character by himself and was so awesome. Maggie's awesome too, and you have, of course, family members, right? She's part of their family. So, and also in addition to that, she's got this really close relationship with Daryl, because they had to survive together, just the two of them, in the zombie apocalypse, which is, out on their own without any supplies. It's not easy, right? So going on from there, of course, we have the entire, Slabtown hospital story arc, which, you can look at it as episodes 4 through 8, really, which was another 4 episodes. Granted, she of course wasn't in every single one, but the story was, mostly focused around that. Aside from what went on with Abraham, you had the inner city Atlanta with Carol and Daryl. Carol getting hurt, Carol getting captured, and then of course the big final, episodes with Crossed and the Coda, the mid-season finale. So of course Coda, referring to the finishing up of of a performance or a number, a singing musical performance. And now the name of the episode, the title, definitely makes a lot of sense, because she was a character, of course, that did have that brought that kind of singing. And yes, I know in my reviews I had I had ragged out a little bit on some of the times they used the singing. But in retrospect, it's something that I like a lot more now that the character has gone through so much and evolved so much. I really like what they did with her at the hospital, where she was put in she was captured and used as a slave, which basically is what the wards were at Grady Memorial. They're slaves, She's a slave, and she didn't want that for Noah, right up until the end, because she knew that if he was going to hand himself over, because he escaped, they'd probably beat him. They'd probably beat him senseless. They'd probably, force him to do like work him to the bone, maybe not even feed him barely at all, just enough to keep him doing all their work for them, doing their laundry and cleaning up their offices all day and giving them back massages or whatever the hell else they force him to do, right? And he, of course, gives his life to ensure that everything's going to be okay. Then she, in turn, returns the favor and goes after Dawn and takes her shot, does what she can. Even though Dawn cares for her and Beth had saved Dawn's life previous, she still goes after her because she doesn't want that fate for Noah, regardless of what happens. Maybe she figures she's quick enough to do it without Dawn being able to fire off a shot, or anybody else, depending on how you feel about that. You guys saw the discussion topic video on that one earlier this week. So all in all, in the end, I mean, it was a sad mid-season finale. I think when we come back, we're going to see a lot of grieving from a lot of the characters, especially Maggie and, the others. You can get to see Andrew Lincoln, Rick's face after it happens, and, them saying, it's better here than it is out there. And it's just, no, it's not, So it was a really, really sad ending, really, really sad kind of finale. I think a lot of a lot of female viewers, of course, really related to Beth and her situation in a zombie apocalypse. And it was really cool the way she came a really strong survivor, you know, right through to the end. How she was able to defeat Gorman, and you look at it, you know, she was able to beat this guy, and he's not, you know, he's not someone who would be a slouch or easy to defeat in a zombie apocalypse, but his Achilles heel is women. So, you know, I just really like the way they handled the character. I really like how her evolution, her progression came from just this character that didn't seem to want to live, that didn't seem like she had any chance at all in a zombie apocalypse, to becoming a very strong survivor and actually sort of the one who kills Dawn. I mean, not real. I mean, it was Daryl, right? But kind of the one who does, because you know, with those scissors and everything, would she been able to survive that anyway? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, that's a tough one, because your heart, it's like, right, you know, and it was, maybe it was high enough, but you know, I don't know if they would have been able to save her anyway. But nevertheless, really liked how they used the character in the series. You know, really liked right up until the end, all the evolution and everything they did with the character. Wanted to give my final thoughts on the character in the series. A lot of people's favorite character at the end there. That's at that point. Definitely people who can relate. So let me know what you guys think about the direction they went with Beth as a character. Do you think maybe she should have survived on longer, or do you think it was, you know, she had survived on maybe past her time longer than you thought she would have? You guys know my thoughts. Let me hear your thoughts. Write them in the comments below. And, you know, really sad, touching type of mid-season finale for fans of the character, and I did really like it. You know, you kind of have to get used to that with The Walking Dead. That's part of the world they're in, and they want to be honest to that world. They want to be realistic to a zombie apocalypse. You know, surviving in a zombie apocalypse is really, really tough. So let me know what you guys think about all of that. If you liked the video, please do me a favor. You know what to do. Please thumb it up below. If you want to help support the channel, please share it. Please favorite it. And let me know your thoughts below on your final thoughts on Beth as a character in the Walking Dead television series. Yeah, that's it for this one, guys. I'll see you, of course, tomorrow for the next one. As always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace.